Good morning and welcome to today's Star of the Week assembly. This week the teachers got to choose who got a Star of the Week certificate for anything. We're going to start with the reception class. Today's Star of the Week is, drum roll, Lexi Smith for fantastic progress with her writing. Well done, Lexi. I'm so proud of you. The next Star of the Week is going to come from Year 1. Drum roll, please. And it goes to Miss Millie Hunter for great science work on growing. Millie, you have to bring me that work so I can have a good look at it. Well done you, Millie. Now the top end of Little Court. This person is always being helpful and is a great friend. And it goes to, drum roll, Holly Newton. Well done, Holly. That is a lovely certificate to go home with. Well done you. And the last Year 2 Star of the Week certificate goes to Finley Engelbrecht for fantastic effort and following instructions. Well done, Finley, because that's really important. As you move through the school and you go on to Year 3, you really need to follow instructions. Now we're going to move on to today's story. It's a story that we've probably heard before, but I think it's got a really good moral. Maybe while we're reading it, you can think what the moral or the lesson is. It's called The Lonely Giraffe. The jungle animals were really quite a friendly bunch. Every day the cockatoos were the first to shake their feathers and wake up the other animals. The elephants would trumpet, "Good morning," and the snakes would hiss, "Hello." Even the grumpy lion managed a friendly growl. All the animals met near the river for breakfast every morning to discuss the jungle news. Everyone took their turn to speak, but no one listened to the giraffe. The giraffe was just too tall. By the time he had spread his spindly legs and lowered his head to the ground, the other animals had lost interest. So the giraffe would lift his long neck and wander off. He spent all day with his head in the trees eating the sweetest of leaves. He didn't realise that the birds and the monkeys that lived in the trees were frightened of his large head suddenly appearing in the treetops, or that the small animals on the ground ran away because they were scared of being trodden on. They're the small little animals at the bottom, little mice and rabbits. In the end, the lonely giraffe didn't bother trying to speak to anyone. He moved from tree to tree, munching on leaves, and the jungle creatures went on avoiding him. That was how it went for the whole of the long, dry summer. When the rainy season came, the large animals headed to high ground. The small animals sheltered in the bushes near the river, and the monkeys took cover in the trees. The rain poured down for days. The jungle animals became frightened that the river might burst its banks. "Don't worry," said the alligator. "I'll carry you to safety with my big wide jaws." But the animals didn't trust him. As the river rose, the jungle creatures became even more frightened. They huddled together beneath the bushes, and no one heard the distant roar until the leopard pricked up his ears. But nobody could think what it was. The giraffe looked over the heads of the animals on the ground. His big eyes widened like saucers as he slowly bent his spotted neck until the worried creatures could hear him. I wonder what it could be. "The river is flooding," said the giraffe in a surprisingly squeaky voice. "A wall of water is racing down the valley." "What can we do?" asked the gazelle. "It's too late to run away. We'll be drowned," squeaked the mouse. "Or the alligator will eat us," hissed the snake. "Climb up here," called the monkeys from the treetops. "The river won't reach the high branches." "Hurry!" squawked the cockatoo. "I can see the water coming." The jungle animals raced up to the trees. but some of them could not climb up the slippery tree trunks. Their hooves and tails were not made for climbing. The roaring water rushed closer. The animals shivered in fright. Then the giraffe had an idea. He bent his knees and spoke to the animals. "Climb on my back," he squeaked in his rather high voice. "The water is almost here." The river was lapping around the creatures. The monkeys jumped on the giraffe's neck and called to the others. The hairy warthog was next to carefully climb on. One by one, the animals helped each other to safety. Then the giraffe straightened his knees as the water flooded the jungle. He stretched up his long neck, and the last few animals hurried into the branches. Helped by the chattering monkeys, the water washed around the giraffe's strong legs and sprayed the animals in the trees. Then the river rushed on. The water slowly sank back into the ground, and the sun came up from behind the clouds. The giraffe poked his head up into the hiding branches, and the animals slid down the back of the damp earth. From that day on, the giraffe was never lonely again. The jungle animals would wait for the giraffe to lower his head and join in the conversation. The birds and the monkeys in the trees were no longer afraid of the giraffe's big head. The cockatoos would find the sweetest leaves for the brave giraffe. The elephants would trumpet, "Good morning," and the snakes would hiss, "Hello," and the grumpy lion would pretend to growl before falling asleep in the sunshine. Now I think that giraffe was very brave, but also very helpful. Even though he wasn't friends with everybody in the jungle at the start, he still chose to help them. I'd like you now to chat with the people in your year group and think of a time when you've been either really brave or really helpful, or a time where someone has helped you. In reception, we've been talking about people who help us in our wider community. We thought of doctors and nurses, we thought of postmen and garbage men and women, we thought of firefighters and the lifeboats. I wonder if you could have the chance to have a chat about different jobs and different people who help you. I'd love to hear all about it on the playground. Have a lovely day, and well done the people who were given the Star of the Week. Bye everybody!